All right, if you haven't yet, please go ahead and turn your notes over to 4.7, Solving Two-Step Inequalities. Could you guys look at 4.3 real quick and read to me, what's the title on our 4.3 lesson?
Solving two-step equations.
Solving two-step equations. Notice what today's is, solving two-step inequalities. So it's going to be super similar to what we did in 4.3. Read me what the rules say in 4.3, the very first one.
Add or subtract.
Add or subtract. Second, what does it say?
Multiply or subtract.
Okay, we're going to add or subtract, and then we will multiply or divide. Read me what the last thing says on your 4.3 notes.
Never move the number attached to the variable first.
Never move the number that is attached to the variable first. So those rules that we learned about solving two-step equations are going to be the same rules we use today on 4.7, solving two-step inequalities. All right, let's go ahead and look at this. Solve the inequality and then graph the solution. Remember when we talked about that in 4.3? We talked about best friends. In problem A, who would my best friends be?
5x.
5x. Why? Because they're connected. They're attached together. Okay, so what am I going to get rid of first, class?
-4.
How do I get rid of subtract by 4? What you do to one side? Very good job. So on the left side, -4 and +4 cancels out. And I'm going to drop down what on the left side? 5x. What does my inequality symbol say? Greater than or equal to. Great job. Now on the right-hand side, guys, what's 11 plus 4? 15. Here's what happens. A lot of people look at this and then they say, I'm done. Am I done? No. Remember, we are finished when the variable is alone or it's all by itself. What's not allowing our variable to be alone? Multiply by 5. How do I get rid of multiply by 5? Okay, and we got to do it to both sides. So, class, what's my answer?
X is greater than or equal to 3.
Excellent job. Do you guys remember how to graph this?
Yes.
All right, how many numbers will be on my number line?
3.
Okay, very good. Nikki, what number goes in the middle?
3.
A 3. Javaria, what's one smaller than 3? 2. And what's one bigger? 4. Ayana, is this going to be a closed circle or an open circle?
Close.
A closed circle because we know it can equal exactly 3. And this answer up here says all solutions are greater than or equal to 3. So which direction does my arrow go?
Right.
It goes to the right because I could plug in that a 4 is greater than or equal to 3. Can someone tell me what another solution is that I could plug in that would still be true? Janet?
7.
A 7. That is true because 7 is greater than or equal to 3. What else could I plug in there? Brody? A 5 because 5 is greater than or equal to 3. So remember, there are a lot of solutions or a lot of answers when we have inequalities. Let's go on to the next one. Problem B. Is my variable on the left-hand side of that symbol?
Yes.
Yes, it is. So we are good to move on. Are there any best friends here?
Yes.
What are the best friends?
B and -3.
B divided by -3. So keep that alone for right now. Charbel, what should I do first?
You should do -4 to the 13 and the +4.
Very good. We did -4 to both sides. Cameron, what happens to +4 -4? Good job. What am I left with on the left side?
13.
On the left-hand side. B divided by -3. We're going to go ahead and drop down the less than sign. And what is 13 minus 4? 9 is correct. Am I finished? No. Alexis, how do I get that B by itself? Good job. We're going to multiply both sides times -3. Sierra, what happens on the left-hand side?
It cancels out.
It cancels out, and I'm left with?
B.
B is less than what? What is 9 times -3? -27. All right, so the question we're going to ask ourselves, was the last thing I did multiply or divide by a negative number?
Yes.
Yes. Notice I multiplied by -3 on both sides. So what do I have to do to my symbol? Listen, this is what I do not want to see. I do not want to see you guys just erase it and fix it. I want to see you completely rewrite it. This helps me to know and understand that you know you're flipping the symbol simply because we divided by a negative number. Okay, so once again, I do not want you just to erase the symbol. Otherwise, you might get confused looking back wondering, why did that switch all of a sudden? Okay, let's go ahead. I want you guys on your own, please, to graph this inequality. All right, guys, is this an open or a closed circle?
Open.
It is open because it's not equal to negative 27. We do know that all solutions are greater than negative 27, so which direction should my arrow go?
Right.
It should go to the right. How many of you got that correct? All right, if you did not, that's okay. Erase it and fix it so that your notes are correct. Next problem. This looks a little different. It's something we have not done in a while. Does anybody remember what you have to do when there is a number on the outside of parentheses? Javaria, what do I have to do?
You have to multiply by everything on the inside.
You are correct. Does anyone remember what that's called? Distributive property. Okay, so I have to distribute it to every single thing that's on the inside. Let's look at this first one right here. What is 2 times k?
Nothing.
2k, all right? A number next to a letter means to multiply. Now we got to go to the 2 times negative 5. What would that equal? Negative 10. And now we're going to just carry on. It looks a little bit more like a normal problem that we've had before, okay? What should I get rid of first? Subtract by 10. How do I do that?
Add by 10.
We're going to go ahead and add by 10 on both sides. And on the right-hand side, what's 6 plus 10? 16. Taylor, am I finished? What do I have to do? You are correct. We're trying to get that k by itself, so we're going to divide 2 on both sides. Madison, what do you get when you do that? K is less than 8. Now we want to ask ourselves this every single time. As our last step, was the last thing we did multiply or divide by a negative number on both sides? No, look right here. Those are both positive numbers we divided by. So do I need to flip the symbol?
No.
Nope. Our correct answer is k is less than 8. All right, let's go ahead and graph it. Just the boys. What number goes in the middle? 8. What goes to the left? And to the right? Is this an open or closed circle, boys? Open. And which direction should my arrow go? I heard left and right. This is what it says up here. All solutions are less than 8. So which direction is less than? Okay, to the left is our less than. All right, let's look at the next one. What do you think I need to do first before doing anything else? Hunter.
8 plus y?
No. Distributed property.
Okay, even before I do distributive property, there's something I want to do with this. What do you think?
Like you have to put 20 cents on it.
Okay, here's what has happened. Do you guys see the variable?
Yeah.
Where is the variable? On the right side. Remember, that's like reading things backwards. So we want to instead flip everything. Does that make sense? Okay, so this right here, we're going to go ahead and write on the left side. Now what will my symbol say? It's going to say less than. All right, so if you remember right here, look, the tiny point is facing this direction. You still want the tiny point to face the same exact numbers, okay? So now what do we have on the right-hand side? Negative 3. Are there any questions as to why we did that? All right, remember, we just don't want to read it backwards, and I always want to have that variable to the left of my inequality symbol. All right, now what do I want to do? Distribute. Remember, whenever there's a number here on the outside, I have to distribute it to every number on the inside. Should I also distribute this 0.5 over here? No, you only distribute it to the thing right outside of the parentheses. So let's see if we can remember this. 0.5, what fraction is a 0.5? A half, okay? So can you guys help me out? What is a half of 8? 4. Then we know we're doing 0.5 times positive y. What is that? 0.5y. Now, is that 0.5y positive or negative? It's a positive because we were multiplying 2 positives together. Okay, and remember, a number next to a letter just means to multiply. So all we were trying to do is multiply 0.5 times positive y. Now we got to drop down that inequality symbol. What does that inequality symbol say? Less than negative 3. Okay, are there any sets of best friends up here? Yeah, positive 0.5y. Okay, now looking at this 4 right here, is that a positive or a negative 4? It is a positive 4. How do I get rid of a positive 4?
Negative 4.
Okay, subtract 4 on both sides. This cancels out. What am I left with on the left of my inequality symbol? 0.5y. Make sure you keep that point. Drop down your less than sign. What is negative 3 minus 4?
Negative 7.
Negative 7. Am I finished? Someone raise your hand and help me to understand, what do I need to do next? Nehemiah. Divide by 0.5 on both sides. Okay, so now we've got y is less than. All right, listen. This answer might not make sense to us. Well, let's see if we can figure this out first. If I am dividing a negative by a positive, is my answer going to come out negative or positive?
Negative.
It's going to be negative because I only had one negative. Now put it in your calculators. 7 divided by 0.5. Okay, guys, what'd you get?
14.
Negative 14. Now, a lot of you are looking at that thinking, I don't understand how that came out. Let's think this through. What did we say 0.5 is as a fraction? A half. So we have 7, or a negative 7, divided by 1/2. Remember, this 7 right here is like 7 over 1. Am I allowed to divide fractions? No. What method do I have to use when dividing fractions? KFC. So negative 7, flip the second one, and change the sign. Guys, now does that make sense? What would negative 7 times 2 be? Negative 14, and that is exactly what we got right there as our answer. So that is kind of the why behind, you are looking at it thinking that's a weird answer, but that is why that's the correct answer. All right, I want you guys to graph it on your own. All right, I saw a lot of people that got the correct graph. Some people are still a little confused about their numbers. Negative 14 goes in the middle. What's one smaller?
Negative 15.
What's one bigger?
Negative 13.
All right, do an open circle. And which direction should my arrow go?
Left.
To the left, because everything is less than negative 14. Raise your hand if you got it correct. All right, excellent. Once again, if you didn't, that's okay. Just erase it and fix it. All right, so this one asks, which graph represents the solution of negative 7 times x plus 3 is less than or equal to 28? Here's what I want you guys to do. Underneath it, we've got a little bit of space. So let's go ahead and rewrite that original problem down here. What do I need to do before I can do anything else? What is it? Does anyone more than just her know? What do I have to do, guys?
Distributive property.
Distributive properties. Show me those arrows. I want you and your partner to go ahead and work on this together and see if you can figure out if it represents A, B, C, or D. Okay, as I walked around, I saw a lot of answers. Raise your hand if you think it's A,
No.
B, C, or D. All right, so we've got people on A, B, and C. Let's go ahead and check this out. All right? Guys, what would it be as I distribute? Negative minus 21. Raise your hand if you got that far. Excellent. Now I need to get rid of the negative 21, so how do I do that?
Add 21.
Good job. Negative 7x is less than or equal to what number?
49.
49. Now I have to do what? Okay? Am I finished? Why do I switch the sign? The last thing that we did was divide by a negative number on both sides, which means, what's the correct answer? As I look up here, all of these, as you can see, all of these are closed circles, okay? Now we see our answer is a -7, which means it could be this one or it could be that one. But as you can see, all solutions are greater than. Remember, whenever it's greater than, it's going to the right. So the correct answer is B. Very good job for those of you who got B. All right, next up, modeling real life. A football team orders the sweatshirt shown. Looking at that picture right there, can you guys see how much they charge for a sweatshirt?
$40.
All right, you can see right there a little price tag. It is $40. The price per sweatshirt decreases 5 cents for each sweatshirt that's ordered. Okay, so you're going to get like a discount the more that you order. How many sweatshirts should the team order for the price per sweatshirt to be no greater than $32.50? All right, so let's kind of think this through. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the regular price, okay? So let's do a verbal model real quick. We'll start with the base price. Okay? Then it tells us that the price can decrease. What sign means decrease?
Minus.
Minus or subtract. Minus, what was our price decrease?
5 cents.
Okay, so we're going to minus the price decrease per sweatshirt. How do I do something per sweatshirt? You multiply by the number of sweatshirts that we have. And then what's our goal, the ending price?
$32.50.
Okay, could it be exactly $32.50? It could be. Now let's think about this. It says we want it to be, up here in our original problem, no greater than. If I don't want it to be greater than, what does it have to be?
Less than or equal to.
Less than, all right? So my sign is going to be less than. So let's go ahead and just start plugging some of these things in. What is the base price we were talking about? $40, okay? Then we're going to go ahead and bring down our subtraction. What is the price decrease per sweatshirt that we talked about?
5 cents.
Okay, so our price decrease is 0.05, that's 5 cents, per the number of sweatshirts. What could we use as a symbol for sweatshirts?
S.
S for sweatshirts. Okay, then let's go ahead and keep our same inequality symbol that we had, less than or equal to $32.50. All right, what should I get rid of first?
$40.
The $40, okay, so minus $40 on both sides. I'm going to have negative 0.05 S is less than or equal to, what is $32.50 minus $40?
$7.50.
Negative $7.50, because you got to take the sign of the larger number. All right, so now I've got to get rid of that multiply by negative 0.05. What do I need to do? Divide by negative 0.05 on both sides. All right, so this over here is going to cancel out. What is a negative divided by a negative? What's that going to be? That's going to be a positive, okay? So we know, I'm just going to kind of go over here since it's a little squishy. S is less than or equal to, what's $7.50 divided by 0.05?
$6.
Put it in your calculator again. When you put that in your calculator, what do you get?
150.
Now listen, I want us to go ahead and make sense of this answer. Here's what it asks. How many sweatshirts should the team order for the price per sweatshirt to be no greater than $32.50? This means, write this down, they should order at least, that means the smallest number they can order to get that discount, 150 sweatshirts. All right, I know that's kind of tricky because we ran out of a little room, okay? But they should order at least 150 sweatshirts in order to get that deal. How do we get rid of plus 7? Sorry, minus 7. We add 7. How do I get rid of multiply by 3?
You divide by 3.
What's the answer?
15. 5. Y'all really just said 15. Yeah, they do.
All right, guys. What number goes in the middle?
5.
To the left?
4.
To the right?
6.
Open or close circle?
Close.
Which direction does it go?
Right.
Now listen up. Tonight you do not have homework. However, tomorrow night is Halloween. So if you don't want to do homework, this is it so you can do it tonight.